Hello and welcome to the Kathleen Sprackland podcast. I am a woman on a mission to gather a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world one character at a time. And it all starts with one thing: a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. But right now, I'm still teaching Zettelkasten. And this video is for you, Kayla. And Kayla is working in a project where she is creating new, fresh output, new projects that draw heavily on existing material that she has created over many years in the past. Only now she has a Zettelkasten. So while she's doing her creative effort for her new projects, she's also pulling in information from previous projects and research and creating main cards in her system. So now the question that I'm going to address today is the situation where the confusion between project writing and creating main cards. I have said many times, and I strongly do it, and I believe in it. Anytime material should be siloed, and that is, it's a separate packet of information, it's collected, and then it's filed away, and nothing dives into it. That type of material is very naturally belongs on a bib card, because that's what bib cards are. They're very natural. They have a title on one side, and on the back side, usually in portrait, you gather the information. They're beautifully suited to projects of many kinds of projects that are not terribly detailed. The problem where they start to fall down is if you've got a full book, or you're writing multiple chapters, or where I was teaching a class that ran for 35 weeks, then the bib card becomes too disorganized and you need a little bit more fine-grained. So that's why, and also I use this for my fiction writing, I created a section in my Zettelkasten. For me, I gave it the number 4,000 as a category region. That nothing magical about that number. That's just what worked for me. And in that area, I kept all of my fiction writing. I still keep all my fiction writing there, and that's where I kept my lengthy course data. But each of the cards within that section actually were more like bib cards than they were like main cards, because I was mostly collecting the information of where in my yellow legal pads the writing took place. Most of you know that I track all of my writing that goes into a yellow legal pad, and just about everything I do, even if it's an email that requires some thought, answering that, even that goes onto a yellow legal pad. Anytime I have to put my brain into it, it goes on a yellow legal pad, and then I type it in. So that means that I'm constantly needing to collect and gather and track my writing. These are my journals. I used to use a lot of bound journals. I have quite a collection of them, and I keep promising myself that I'm going to harvest them all into my Zettelkasten, but I haven't, in truth, I have not gotten very far on that project. Okay, so the advantage of using a bib card is it is designed very well for logging and gathering material that comes from outside sources. When you're creating, the outside source is very often your own writing. Oftentimes also you're going to be pulling cards from elsewhere in your Zettelkasten, and I find the front side of the bib cards is a great place to log the cards that I'm pulling to assist in the writing. Now, as regard to making main cards as you write, main cards go into your general system, and the beauty of main cards is that they're designed to interact. Any new main card gets to pick wherever it wants to go in your whole Zettelkasten. It gets to choose where it goes. And the next card that comes in gets to choose where it goes. And that means everything that's in a main card is designed to have new cards come into the middle of it so that ideas can interact and formulate. And that's really the heart of the Zettelkasten, are those main cards. So when Kayla and others, when you're pulling work in from your past self and there's good stuff there that belongs on a main card, by all means, make those main cards and use them, draw from them from your project, but they are not going to be your project. So that means that you're not going to really be trying to create a set of main cards that you go through one after the other, and now you've got your project written for you. Now, your project gets written for you on your yellow legal pad, and the cards that you draw might well be those main cards you just created because you wanted to create those main cards while you were drawing that extra information back into your Zettelkasten. Great, but those main cards are not your project. They're the reference cards that you read from for your project. All of those main cards need to be in there so that they can interact with what was already there, and new material can interact with them. So the simplest way to think about it is main cards are for interaction, bib cards are for silos. If your work needs to be in a silo, it would be better off on a bib card. If the work is complex and it really needs a kind of categorization that you have available to you with a category numbering system, sure, scope off an area in your main box that, okay, this is my project. But you'll find that those cards really look an awful lot like bib cards when you're done with them. And I'll show you a couple of examples. Okay, this is the section in my main box that was my 35-week course on YouTube. Here's all the cards that I created. But now we'll take a look at a couple of the cards. Okay, here they are. They're main cards in my, either in sections in my notebox where I pulled from existing cards and I'm writing from those, or references to the journals, my yellow legal pads. Now it's nice to have these all together, and this is a lot of material, so that's why it's beneficial to have it in my main box where I could give it different card numbers, or where I could give it a directory card that would say where everything was. I mean, this was effectively one project. That would be a big bib card stack, but it is still siloed. It's not really main cards because nothing will ever enter into this area. And so, in a way, it occupies a region in my main box, but it isn't really functionally like your normal main cards. None of the cards have the structure of the normal main cards. So, Kayla, I hope that helps. I didn't have a lot of examples to show because this is more philosophical. But I hope it will help you keep the balance between bringing your existing material into your Zettelkasten, where it can relate to other materials and bring all those wonderful surprises. But to have that happen, keep those main cards as main cards and give yourself permission to either cordon off an area in your main box for your writing, or if the project isn't overly complex, go ahead and use a bib card for it. Talk to you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.